Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to try to put our intake manifold on our engine. I've got to get it all set up. Everybody said we'd like to see your face, so here's my face. Hey, I'm even wearing a clean shirt. So, we're going to let the good times roll. I appreciate you watching, and I'm going to show you how to put a Chevy 350 intake on. Thank you. Okay, I think we're back. I'm going to try to adjust you where you can see pretty much everything I can see. All right, this is the block we've built. The intake gaskets come with it. We've got two rubbers like this, and then the official intake gaskets. What these rubbers do is seal oil in, dirt out. I've already put this one on. There's a lot of guys that don't run these. You don't have to run these. I'm not going to tell you have to run these. I am going to tell you I've run these for a long time and I've never had very much trouble out of them. Oh, ugh. Well, sometimes your silicone gets a silicone plug in it, and man, can they be nasty. Kind of a pain in the butt to get out. You do need to do silicone on these manifolds or they will leak oil. And I have got a plug. Man, what a plug. See if we can force that sucker on out of there. This may take a minute. You know, most people don't show you the struggles of shop. Well, I don't want to give you any lies. I just want you to understand that you could do this yourself if you wanted to. All right, that looks like we got that old plug out there. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got good flow now, I think. Looks pretty good to me. So you put a little dab in the corner. That's the way I always do it. Oh, another piece of plug. You gotta be careful with this stuff. You don't want that in anything you got other than the trash can or the floor. Well, oh man, now I got it on me. Get off. All right. Take a little bit of that. You don't want to overdo it, just a little dab. I always kind of put a little dab in the middle just to give it a little stickiness, because you do want it to stick. All right. Get my hands wiped off. All right, then you take your little rubber, set it on there just like so. And some of these come with little teats that go down in these little holes, and this one happens to be the kind that just got an edge on it. So you want to get that in. Then you want to take your silicone, because you got little cups right here. And you want to take your silicone and you want to put a little dab of that in each cup for your intake gaskets. Don't have to put a lot. I know some guys don't even put any, but I don't want this thing to leak later, so I'm going to put a little. Like I always say, you don't have to do it the way I do it, but the way I do it, I've had pretty good success. All right, you get that done. Take your gasket. You're going to see that your gasket, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to see if I can get you where you can see it. The gasket says this side up. So that's the way we want to put it on. Set your gasket in the hole, and the little hole, kind of line it up a little bit. Way back when, they made these gaskets a lot bigger. And so racers would stick their gaskets on here and then modify them to the head, cut them out. But gasket companies got to looking and watching how we was doing stuff, and they said, well, we can make that gasket smaller. So once you get it like that, you're in good shape. You're going to want to take your intake manifold. Now, this is a used intake manifold that I bought, and I'm going to show you some things that you probably need to look at. See the holes here? The reason those holes look that way is because nobody put a washer on them. They just run a bolt in and called it good. Well, I always put washers on mine. Anyway, we're going to set this and then I'll show you my washers. When you set this on, you want to set it as even to each side as possible. Try not to move the gaskets around. Okay, everybody's going to tell you there is not a washer that'll go there, and that's why they do the bolt thing. Well, I'm going to show you what I do. Maybe, if it'll focus. This was a lock washer, and oh, come on. Oh, it'll do it. I have closed the gap on the lock washer, so now it is just a washer, it's not a lock. The reason you don't want to use a lock washer is it cuts into the aluminum just like the bolt of the head does. So take your bolts. Everybody gets one. And you may have to finagle it a little bit to get it to do what you want it to do, but it'll do it. Alright, we're just going to keep sticking bolts in. We want to do a good job here. Now I am sure that there is a torque spec for this. Pretty sure. I forgot something. Okay, I pulled the intake back off because we forgot to put these in. You do not have to use these, but I like the restriction that it gives. And I'll show you where they go. First thing is you have to break them apart. And I have to remember how they go. I think they go like that. Yeah. Okay. These go on your intake gaskets. I'm lucky enough that my stuff has it set up, so we're good there. You take this, put it over that, and then you get a pair of pliers. You might be able to do it with your fingers. Nope. Hang on. Dead space. Sorry about that. Anyway, you take those, get them on, take your pliers, get everything lined up good, take your pliers and squish them tabs down. And they'll kind of give you some troubles, but it's not that big a deal to get them to squish. Squish that dude down like that. Squish this dude down like that. Make sure it's all lined up still, centered. Go ahead and crimp that down good. Okay, now we're ready to go back on. And that restricts, what that actually does is it restricts how much exhaust heat comes through the manifold. Now it's going to let some in because that's what it's supposed to do, but I didn't really want it all in there, so I'm going to restrict it a little bit. I'm going to do this other side, put the manifold back. Y'all know how to do that, and then we'll get on with the program. All right, we're back where we were. I'm going to show you how to tighten her up, and then we'll be done with this segment. I always start in the middle. You tighten it till it goes down pretty good. You can feel it. People really panic when they do this. I don't know why. And there is a torque spec, but to be honest, you can't get your torque wrench in these crevices. So you're just going to have to learn to kind of feel your way through it. Always tighten from the middle out. Pull one side down and then the other. And you can tell by the way it feels. And if you watch it, as the manifold pulls down to the head, the gasket will get a little crush in it. And as you see that crush happen, you know you've got it going on. And you're probably going to want to do this a couple of times just to make sure that everything's good. You can see that your rubber here is still where it belongs. And do the same on the front. Look, make sure that rubber's still there, and it is. See, as you tighten these down, it's going to loosen the ones in the middle. So that's why you're going to have to go back through and check it again. Now, I had an old buddy that everything had to be so tight that if you took one more twist, it'd snap the head off. Around here, we call that Matt O'Laughlin tight. And if you know Matt O'Laughlin, you'll know what I'm talking about. Me and him were pretty good buddies, still are. All right, we're getting there now. Okay, got them. I always just use 2 fingers. You don't want to overdo it. You just don't want it where it feels like it's loose. And you'll get the feel of it pretty quick. You want it to feel like it's tight enough that it's not going to go nowhere, but loose enough if you had to get it back off, you could. See how that one got loose on me? That means them other bolts are doing their job.